Aliko Dangote just built an oil refinery. It is the largest single line in the world. It's 650,000 barrels a day. Bua Group is currently building an oil refinery in Akwa Ibom State. Well, the choice of Akwa Ibom is easy because, we decided on Akwa Ibom because of the feedstock. The level of competition among these two have gone confrontational. For example, there is always scarcity of sugar in Nigeria every Ramadan. This scarcity makes the prices of sugar to go up. According to reports, this sugar scarcity is an intentional thing. The producers of sugar are the ones creating the scarcity so that prices can go higher and they will make more money. The two major producers of sugar in Nigeria are Dangote Sugar Refinery and Bua Foods. According to Bua, they built a sugar refinery in Port Harcourt so that they can put an end to this seasonal sugar scarcity. And Dangote used every means possible to make sure that the refinery did not take off. These two companies are household names in the Nigerian food and cement market, but they have grown to be opponents in a very dangerous business war. Apart from the Bua Port Harcourt sugar refinery issue, in the year 2020, Bua Cement also accused Dangote Cement of stepping on its toes. The reason for the accusation was a limestone quarry in Edo State. They wrote some big pages of allegation narrating how Dangote used former President Olusegun Obasanjo to take away a land from them, a land at Tinkan Island, Lagos, where they wanted to build their first sugar refinery. According to them, Dangote made sure that the land was revoked. They also stated that when they went into cement production, because they couldn't find a land to build a cement factory, they bought a large ship and constructed it into a cement factory, more like a floating cement factory. They wanted to dock the ship in Lagos, but they were denied approval. Then they moved it to Port Harcourt, and Dangote used every possible means to make sure that the ship was removed from Port Harcourt until President Yar'Adua came to their rescue and gave them presidential approval. Accusations and counter-accusations. All these will be discussed in detail in this video, including the issue that connects Godwin Emefiele, the then governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, on how he gives Dangote some cheap foreign exchange deals, which made the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to visit Dangote Group's office, demanding for some documents. In fact, let's start the whole story from the beginning. The whole thing started in August 1991. According to Bua Group, there was sugar scarcity in Nigeria then, and Bua was still a small trading company, importing sugar, flour, rice, and other products. They had not started manufacturing then. They were lucky to have some bags of sugar still available in their warehouses. Due to the scarcity, Dangote had little or no sugar to sell then. He approached Bua and asked to buy sugar from them, and they accepted. They sold some sugar to Dangote. Remember, Bua and Dangote have a long family relationship. Both families have been business friends for many years. So, after Bua sold the bags of sugar to Dangote, Dangote gave them a Associate General Bank of Nigeria check, a bank that was in existence then, which is today known as Heritage Bank. Unknown to them, the check was a bounced check. The bank refused to pay them. In fact, they stated that they didn't know it was a trap by Dangote, and they became a victim. Their statement was this: if only we knew he was setting the first of many traps in our business history. This transaction led to a court case, and according to them, Dangote used his influence to make the court to freeze their assets. For 3 months, they couldn't make any good use of their bank accounts, and their warehouses were closed. This was the beginning of their business fights. Although Bua Group didn't tell us how the case was resolved and if they got their money back, but a court document based on the order given at Ikeja High Court by Honorable Justice Eniton Akonde, the court ordered Dangote Group to compensate Bua for damages. Remember, when this case was going on in 1991, both companies were still trading companies. They were known then as Dangote Nigeria Limited and Bua International Limited. According to the court documents, it was suspected that when Bua couldn't cash out the check, he stopped the supply of the remaining bags of sugar to Dangote, as at then it was remaining 45,600 bags of sugar out of the about 120,000 bags Dangote ordered for. So, that was why Dangote sued Bua Limited. The judgment at the High Court went in favor of Dangote, aside the fact that Dangote was ordered to pay damages to Bua, but Bua was ordered to supply the remaining 45,600 bags of sugar to Dangote. So, Bua felt the judgment was harsh, to the extent that the court ordered that their bank accounts be frozen. So, as they felt that the judgment was harsh, that was why in the allegation, they stated that for 3 agonizing months, our accounts were garnished, warehouses shuttered, and our spirit tested. Yet, from the ashes of the seat, Bua survived. So, Bua felt that the court judgment was unfair and was influenced by Dangote. They even went further to state that after the sugar and the court issue, a few years later, when they felt it was time to build a sugar refinery, instead of to continue importing, they approached one Usman Dantata, who was Aliko Dangote's uncle, and had an agreement with him to lease his 4.5 hectares of land at Tinkan Island, Lagos, to build their sugar refinery there. But to their surprise, after they had signed the agreement and paid all applicable dues, it was time to start construction. They had set up construction equipment. Suddenly, Dangote came and took the land. Let me read it how they wrote it. They said, Dangote waited until our contractors and equipment had been mobilized to the site. Then he went to former President Obasanjo. President Obasanjo had the land revoked entirely and gave the lease to Dangote. As a result, even his uncle lost the land. Bua was only given 24 hours to vacate the land. So, at this point, it was no more sugar disagreement or bounced check. It was already a business war. Bua stated that it took them over a year to get another land. In fact, it was the father of the owner of Bua that came to their rescue. According to them, Bua's father, looking at what his son was going through, had to shut down one of his businesses and gave the land to his son. And so, Bua survived again. Another Dangote trap. Remember, Dangote is from Kano State, Nigeria, and the chairman of Bua Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, is also from Kano State. It could have been a blessing that both of them are on the same line of business. If you remember what Adam Smith said about competition, he observed that competition is for public good, but the competition needs to be a healthy competition. In the case of Bua and Dangote Group, the competition is no longer healthy. Not just in sugar, they are also at war in cement. In 2007, President Yar'Adua wanted to expand the Nigerian cement market. He then selected 6 companies and gave them licenses to produce cement. Bua was one of those 6 companies. But Bua had no cement plant then. They needed to get one. So, what they did was to get a ship and construct it into a cement factory, more like a floating cement factory, until they are able to get a land and build a cement plant. So, after building the ship, they planned to have the ship docked in Lagos, but they couldn't get approval to keep it on any Lagos water. So, they moved it to Port Harcourt. But the drama didn't end there. On one Friday, a Deputy Controller General of Nigeria Immigration went to the floating cement factory and arrested all the white men working there, according to what Bua complained. Although he didn't state why the white men were arrested, maybe it involves immigration documents. But what Bua pointed out was that the white men were taken from Port Harcourt to Lagos with a Dangote-funded one-way local flight. According to them, not just that the white men were moved to Lagos, but the plan of the Deputy Controller who arrested them was to move the white men out of Nigeria. Bua Group also stated that the name of the Deputy Controller is Owel Bram, and he is an older brother to a Dangote staff. So, until Bua Group was able to reach out to Mr. Tanimu Yakubu, who was Yar'Adua's chief economic advisor then, and Mr. Yakubu immediately called the main Controller General of Immigration. That was how the white men avoided being deported. But the issue was a more serious one then, that President Yar'Adua had to come in. And at the end of the day, Owel Blam, the Deputy Controller of Immigration, admitted what he did, and he was later dismissed from service. Still on cement, there is this cement quarry in Edo State, particularly in Obu-Obela area of Edo State. Before Dangote Cement and Bua Cement became part of the disagreement about the quarry, there were two companies that were operating individually in parts of the quarry: Ado Ibrahim and Company Limited, Aiko, and Ubila Cement Company Limited, which is now known as Edo Cement Company Limited. So, these two companies were operating in parts at the quarry based on the lease licenses given to each of them, but they had some issues and were still managing and trying to settle the issue until around 2009, after President Yar'Adua had given Bua the license to produce and package cement. Bua went into an agreement with Ubila Cement Company Limited. Let's call them Edo Cement Company Limited, which is their current name. The agreement was that Bua would take over from Edo Cement at the quarry. What belonged to Edo Cement now goes to Bua Cement. Then around 2014, Aiko, one of the two initial companies operating at the quarry, entered into an agreement with Dangote Cement. They got an approval from the Federal Ministry of Mines that Dangote should take over the interest of Aiko at the quarry site. Immediately the takeover was completed, the initial issue between Aiko and Edo Cement automatically became Dangote and Bua issue. This issue is about who owns which parts of the quarry. At one point, there were allegations that both of them were using security and thugs to harass each other's staff at the site, until the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, decided to stop the two companies from operating at the site. Then, the matter went to court. But sometime in 2020, a federal high court in Benin City gave judgment in favor of Bua Cement. Then, Dangote Cement appealed the case. So, pending when the court decides, we can never say who owns which part of the quarry. Another place where these two companies have been having issues is on newspaper publications. Dangote Group alleged that there is a paid advertorial in two Nigerian newspapers, Business Day and Leadership newspaper, published on March 16, 2016, titled Acts of Economic Sabotage by Dangote Cement. They stated that many Nigerian newspapers were approached to publish the news article, but most of them refused, and the person sponsoring the article is a competitor masquerading as a concerned Nigerian. Although they didn't mention the name of the person or the company sponsoring the article, but through the tone of their response, you would understand what they mean. And for the fact that they also said a competitor. The news article itself was about how Godwin Emefiele, the then governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, did some money laundering deal with Dangote Group, including a $3 billion foreign exchange from CBN, which were diverted to Dangote companies outside Nigeria. Although Dangote Group denied the allegation, but somehow an investigation was conducted on if it is true, which also made EFCC to go to Dangote's office and demand for some answers. So after the EFCC visit, Dangote Group responded and said, following the widely reported recent visit of the officials of the EFCC to our headquarters in Lagos on 4th January 2023, we understand the concern and interest this has generated among our valued partners, stakeholders, and the public, and consider it necessary to provide a factual account of the events. And then, they went on to explain how the EFCC officials visited them, what happened, and how it happened. There are so many allegations and counter-allegations about the two. Some of the matters are still in court, but from our discussion so far, it should be clear that what the two of Dangote and his Kanu brother are doing is beyond Adam Smith's idea about healthy competition. And it does not in any way resemble the Coke and Pepsi competition we all know about. These two companies have been fighting each other through the court, the police, the media, with talks, the presidency, and in other possible ways best known to them. And it will be unfair to say who is oppressing who. But as observers, what do you think? Also do well to subscribe. Thank you so much for being there.